Welcome back to Bonded by Bravo. I am your host, Amy, joined with my co-host, Dom Jen. What's up, Dom Jen?
How are you?
Now? I feel, I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but you look tired and I feel so tired.
Yes, I do look tired. I also noticed that.
And
I got my period, so like in like the middle of the night, like heavy. So yeah.
I put on so much makeup to try to not look tired. So
just
much.
A tired day, I guess.
Like, look at these bags. They're bagging.
I know my bags have been out of control recently.
Front. What the heck are we talking about today? I have so many thoughts.
Well, last week we didn't get to talk about your experience with Tell Me Lies, and the finale last night was fucking intense. Did you watch?
I watched it this morning because I saw it on the outline, and I was like, and I forgot, and I was like, oh my God, I can't get any spoilers because I binged it.
Yeah.
I just started watching it like 2 weeks ago, binged it. This is insane. This lipstick looks so ridiculous for what's happening right now. But yeah, I binged it. And it was good because I binged it and was like 2 weeks behind of where we were. So I only had to wait 2 weeks for the finale. I don't know though. I was thinking this show is so wild. So wild. The show is like, I didn't know what to expect, but I definitely didn't know that it was going to be like softcore porn.
That it is. Yeah, it definitely is that.
Sure is. And like, it talks about like everyone has their one, like everyone has their one Steven. And I was interested thinking like that one person that you like know is awful for you, but you can't help it because there's some other thing. Like there's this line that what the heck's her name? Grace Van Patten's character. Lucy says where she's like, when we have sex, our bodies just fit together. And I was thinking, like, as chicks, we all know about that one person. And it's usually not the person that you end up like marrying because it ends up being like the most toxic relationship you've ever been in. And I mean, Steven's like a whole other level of toxic.
Yeah, he is.
But I don't know if I think Lucy's any less toxic.
Oh, they're a mess together. That's why in the second to last episode, like, that was kind of the whole thing is like, you love me knowing I'm a full on like so psychopath and same to you. So let's keep doing the dance for the next, 8 years or whatever.
But it's so weird because I believed I was like on her side and was like, Team Lucy, this man is corrupting her. Until the pool scene where she summons him down to the pool to watch her and her boyfriend engage in sexual acts. Why am I talking like a teacher? Anywho.
That was really fucked. Like that's where I really lost Lucy. Like any kind of last little hope I had for her, I was like, oh, you're just as bad as he is. Like, because there was watching the show, and I don't know if I've already said it on here. I know I've talked to like friends about it outside, like off the podcast, but when they're freshmen in college, when the season 1 starts, is my freshman year of college. So the
like the years,
the outfits are the same. Yeah, the years match up. The outfits are the same. The vibe is the same. The music is the same. Like all of it is so. I was even talking to a friend about. I was like, "Whoa!" Like actually, there's some because the show is so, especially that first season, it felt so real and relatable that it kind of like brought up some shit that I had for sure buried deep into the depths of my brain. Like did not really need, I don't need them back in my brain, to be honest. I need them to go back to the darkness. Just things that like as women, we don't need to really know and whatever.
But to that point, Jen, like the way that they discuss what happens to women in college is very interesting and very raw and very real, because I think out of all the situations that everyone's in, I think to most women, there's at least one, if not two, if not more, that all of us are kind of like, I've been in like at least one of these to some extent. Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like, there was one specific memory that popped in and I was like, oh, fuck, I did not
haven't thought about
want
this.
that. Like, yeah. And it was like traumatic at the time, but I like told no one. I just kept it moving sort of.
Yeah.
But it just makes it, I think the thing that I kept sort of staying in Lucy's corner because it was just like, I want to hug that version of myself so bad. Like, that was that's such a weird time in a woman's life. Like, and I'm not even saying just women, but just when you're going to the parties, you're dressing for the guy. You're not dressing for your friends or for yourself. Whereas like being in your 30s, I don't give a fuck what he thinks what I'm wearing. Like it's for the girls now, you're dressing for a different, or for yourself, frankly. And it's just the insecurity that is just your baseline every day is insecure. At that time of your life.
Yeah. And you're also coming out of high school where your baseline was whatever is right below insecure.
Totally.
Like you're trying to figure it all out and trying to gain like a little bit of confidence. And like in this, I feel like when you got to college, it still felt like men really held the power. And it's 100%. When you're starting to get your voice a little bit.
And not only men holding the power, an older guy at college who is like in this cool group. So there's like that other sort of layer that's coming into play. God.
His character, do you know what I found out? And I'm sure you already know this, but Katie, do you know who? Yes. Okay. You know, that shocked me that's who his mom was. His mom is Peg from Married with Children.
Such a legend. Or Gemma from Sons of Anarchy for anyone who's into that show.
Not my age.
But
did you really think it was a cliffhanger? To me, the ending wasn't like, oh my God, this is such a wild cliffhanger. Lucy finding out that or Bree finding out that Lucy slept with her fiance. Like
I can't believe Steven did that at the end, because he just went to kind of like took the fall for that letter. Although,
which was what was his reason for that?
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, though, was it like for his own sort of, because he was the one that was driving the car? Like there seems like there must be some sort of selfish motive there where, okay, he's come forward about something to take the pain off of Wrigley, which by the way, that was so fucking heartbreaking. I was like, I had to like I was like covering my eyes. I was like, I can't think of a worse situation.
Wrigley, that boy reminds me of so many boys I've known before. Like so many. I mean, we all know a Wrigley, if not multiple Wrigleys in college that's like working through their trauma. That's when like everybody's addiction starts to show. It's like not that cute anymore to be the drunkest person there. Or maybe it's after college that you start noticing. But God, he's so heartbreaking. And I really, really love him and Pippa's friendship relationship. Yeah.
Me too.
It's like I wish it would work out for her, but
she's into other things. I'm excited to kind of see. I'm curious to see where they're going to take this show.
Are they going to make us really wait another 2 years? That's insane.
All these shows that make us, I don't know if we had to wait 2 years for this. I think
it said 2022 was the last time that this was released. That's when I started watching. When I put it on, it said 2022. So I thought I had 3 seasons ahead of me. And no.
Whoa, that's weird. I feel like 2 years. I don't know.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm so glad you talked me into it. I've talked in like 3 other people since then to get on the bandwagon. So I think I might even rewatch it now, because I love to rewatch things immediately after.
Do you have Apple? Speaking of shows, I'll just put this in here for anyone who's not watching. Shrinking. It is so good, and it starts today.
I watched the first season, and it's with Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. I can't remember the other people's names, but I mean, Harrison Ford, like, you've never
so
seen
good.
him in this kind of role before. He's more of like dark comedy.
The comedic timing is so good too.
Yeah.
And like the way it's executed is perfect. Okay.
Speaking of it, actually, that was the one thing I did want to say about Tell Me Lies that, I mean, I don't know if anybody cares about this, but as an actor, I could not stop thinking about the sex scenes and how young these people are doing these sex scenes. There's so much sex. There's so much thrusting. There's so many butts and boobs that, like, they're wearing like cock socks, and that's it.
I guess good thing they're dating in real life.
Well, just them, but what about everyone else?
I know.
And you know the other thing that I always look for, because I didn't find this out until I had to do a kissing scene, that you don't use tongue.
Dax talked about this on one of the podcasts, and I was like, how do they make it look so real then?
I know.
Yeah.
And it's only like back in the day, if you look at like old movies, they'll use tongue, and sometimes you'll see tongue, but you're not supposed to use tongue.
They always make it look so real.
They do, but if you're looking, and I always look now, ever since me having to do my own makeout scene on live stage, they don't use tongue. And I'm always like looking in there to see if there's tongue. No tongue.
No tongue.
And I looked all up in here, and there's never any tongue. Which I'm very thankful for my own experience, that's not good. A thing. But I don't think I could do these scenes. Like, I'm not committed that much.
Yeah. I know I couldn't.
No, thank you.
What else?
Anyhow, your grievance of the week. You want to talk about your grievance of the week? You want to know one thing that I don't want to talk about this week?
Sure.
I don't want to talk about Diddy this week.
Fair. Totally down for that.
This man is such a sick fuck, and there's so much coming out about him and the things that keep coming out. I will say one thing, and this might be a shock to many, or to no one probably. After everything that's come out, I've decided that I unfollowed Beyoncé on Instagram.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I'm nervous for what's to come.
So I just didn't feel comfortable still following her.
Yeah, talk me through this.
I just don't think that her and her husband are as innocent in this whole thing. And I don't know if we'll ever hear anything about them, but I don't think that means they're innocent.
Yeah. And
for them to have been as close as they have to Diddy, it's a little too close for comfort for me. So
okay.
I don't know if I'll be supporting her moving forward. I have to be honest. And that's wild because,
that is wild.
I know.
Didn't you like flew
somewhere? I flew to St. Louis to see her concert. And I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that for this week. I did go to the Stevie Wonder concert last week.
Oh, fun. How was that?
I don't know if you know that Stevie is like my Taylor Swift, my Beyonce. Stevie is my like pinnacle concert.
Okay,
like,
and how was it?
Top of the top. It was absolutely incredible. I didn't even know that he was touring. And I saw a TikTok that said upcoming music in New York. And I was like, wait, this can't be real. There's no way Stevie Wonder. I thought it was like a Stevie Wonder cover band. And how was I not notified? And apparently just like 3 weeks ago, he came out with like 6 tour dates. One was in New York, one was in Philly, one was in Baltimore, Pittsburgh, like East Coast, I think.
Yeah.
And they all sold out. I bought tickets through like StubHub, spent so much money, and it was worth every single penny. He sang every hit you could possibly imagine. And I almost considered going in Philly on Saturday because it was that good.
Wow.
It was so good. It was so good. Yeah. I mean, it's like one of those things you're like, you're only going to see him once in your life and spend all the money, and it was worth it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so grievance of the week. This is gonna be controversial, probably.
Oh.
And so we should definitely clip this because even if they hate us, I'm down.
Clip it, Brock. Clip it.
Grievance of the week. I can't do it. Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live. I am so the way he gets so annoyed by the call, like you know how they have the viewers call in or whatever they're on like the video thing.
Yeah.
He is so like annoyed with them, like it feels like right off the bat, and it's like it is awkward. Like the whole thing is awkward, and sometimes the people are excited and then they want to like say like you guys look great or whatever, or I'm a fan or I'm reading this book or whatever. And I understand that they're on a time crunch, but if this isn't working for the show, then stop doing it. Like you can't be annoyed of these fans calling in for a segment on your show.
The other thing that I don't know if everyone knows is that these aren't typically fans. They're usually like family members of the producers. Like these are handpicked people and hand-given questions.
Yeah, like they're not like coming up with these questions on their own.
Feeding them these questions.
Yeah.
A lot of the times you can see them reading it. So it's not like he doesn't know what's coming at him. Like, you know, the question that's about, it's probably on your card to repeat the question in case there's audio issues. That's interesting. And I
find it unfair that fans are not allowed to have their moment when they're given their moment, you know?
Yeah. Imagine like that would be such a bummer if you're getting to meet.
It's a bummer.
Also, a lot of these people probably love Andy.
That's what I mean.
Almost getting shot down.
It feels very like don't meet your heroes kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And I think that Andy should do better. And like, he's the one that makes it so awkward. Like he's so annoying. Like even today, someone said, or I guess last night, the girl was like, I think she said like, I'm actually sitting at your college or whatever. And he goes, yeah, it hasn't been so long. I literally don't care. I was like,
my God.
What the fuck? It was so uncomfortable.
It was so uncomfortable.
That's he like kind of tried to recover. Yeah. It was not nice at all. It was really like, and he does this a lot. Like, I think if you're done with the show, we are done. We can be done with you. You can still be the face in some, you know, aspect. You could still do the reunions, but like, do we need you on our TV every night, frustrated as fuck by the viewers? I just don't think so. Like, give us more credit than that. We're excited. Like, we have given you basically like, we pay for your fucking house by being your fans. Yeah. Like, you know, I just think he could be a little bit more grateful to the fans. And that's all I'll say on that. That's my grievance of the week. Do you have any, by the way? Because I feel like it's just me complaining every week.
You
saw the photo I sent you of the escalator the other day, right?
Yeah. That's always one. I mean, just like the JFK airport in general, I'd say is a grievance. You know, my grievance of the week would be at the concert. This guy behind us, while the first Stevie Wonder song that I paid over $400 a ticket for came on, and I stood up at the first Stevie Wonder song, and he started yelling at me to sit down.
At a concert?
At a concert. And like, granted, he was older, but this is my Taylor Swift. This is my Beyonce.
I'm gonna stand up. Also, you're not like so tall.
If you look around me, right. And he started yelling at me and my friend who went to see the concert, and she's like, he's yelling at us, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. So he yelled at her again after tapping her on the shoulder, and that's like another thing, like, don't touch me. And so I said, sir, I'm going to stand the entire time. I just want you to know that I'm going to be standing the entire time. And he said, fuck you, bitch. And I said, fuck you. And I
Is that real?
Around. Yeah.
He said, fuck you, bitch.
I mean, this man had full gray hair, gray mustache. He continued, like, I was so proud of how I handled it because I didn't say anything the rest of the time. They continued to like yell stuff at us the rest of the time. God. But I was like, I am not letting this ruin Stevie for me. And I didn't. And that's big. But, you know, it actually ended up, the two girls next to us, we ended up becoming friends with because they were like, we're not standing, screw him. Or we're not sitting, like, screw him, we're at Stevie Wonder.
Team.
Yeah. And then we were like all singing together, calling ourselves the quartet. So it ended up working out. But I would say, like, you can't tell people to sit down at concerts. If you came to a concert to sit down, like, unless it's like an orchestra, I just think that you're in the wrong spot. We're
You're
also
in the
like
wrong
at
spot.
Madison Square Garden. Like,
yeah. I've only been there once.
It's
but,
just, I don't
yeah.
know. We were in the 100 section too. It's not like we were like up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we're the
Yeah.
ones that are supposed to create the atmosphere.
Wow.
Anyhow, that's my grievance of the week.
That's a grievance. That's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
We have
Well, let's
so much Bravo to talk about. I went down. I decided that I'm going to binge watch them all on Tuesday nights so that it keeps me fresh. And I feel like we could probably talk Salt Lake first just because there wasn't a ton.
Yeah, that's what I have on that line too. So that works.
Yeah. This
All
was
right.
so funny what you wrote in here. And I just want you to.
About Milwaukee?
No, but I want you to go into the part after that. But go ahead. Talk to me about Milwaukee. And then.
So I've just been like, I really recently, it's where I really want to go. Like I just keep talking about it. I had a pitch to, I literally don't know. I think what it is like a lot of the cities that I've wanted to see, like when I think about domestically, I've been to. And so I'm like, okay, let's try and get to like smaller towns and like, I don't know, like Milwaukee scene. I've heard people say too that they have a great dive bar scene.
Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. And then it's like Midwest. And so it's just going to be really nice people. And so I don't know. I was like saying this for like a couple weeks. And then lo and behold, I'm watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And for all places they go to is Milwaukee. And I was like, oh, the simulation hard at work again, as it is. And then they go on this really great cheese and beer tour, which I've looked up and cannot find. I think it was like done special for them. So that's annoying. Like there's tours, but it's not like the tasting.
But was it like, oh, they probably did the tasting
like at the
for
cave.
them.
Yeah, and it was like with cheese curds and stuff like that, like in the caves. I think that was, I literally can't find it. I actually thought about calling. But
that's,
and it's High Life, and Mary drinking a High Life saying it's regal was all I needed to hear. Actually, Miller High Life is having a good week because then Kamala Harris, not to get political, was on Seth. I think the Seth Meyers. I think it was Seth Meyers. You know how he does the drinking thing, or no? Maybe it was Steve Colbert.
Yeah.
Colbert. And when they were like, "Okay, we have to get her a real beer," what does she request? She requested a Miller High Life.
That's so wild.
I know. And I think this sounds insane for anyone. Like Miller High Life is actually just plays a really big role in my life because it's the only thing Kyle drinks. Like it's just, he's obsessed with this beer. He loves it. He doesn't think there's anything better than High Life.
Well, remember my Miller Lite phase for
I do.
10, 15 years? I haven't had a beer in probably 2 years, to be honest.
I hadn't
just
had
because
one,
of my gluten stuff, and it's torture, but
I hadn't had one in so long, like probably even longer than 2 years, like because I thought it was making me throw up. And then the other day I was drinking, I was like, I'm gonna have a Coors Light in a bottle specifically. And I drank Coors Light all day, and I was like, guys, this is the answer. I didn't have any anxiety the next day, but I think it's because I probably never got drunk.
Yeah. What I would do to be able to just like have a beer drinking day and not get like those hangovers. I just hate that I can't drink beer anymore. It's torture.
I know. It was like eye-opening. I was like, oh my God, I can actually drink some beer.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going off.
We are, but here. So this was really funny to me because I wanted you talking about the opening credits being like a sitcom.
I hated it.
But do you know it's supposed to be a sitcom?
What do you mean? Okay.
Because I was like, I don't know if she's putting this as a joke or if she doesn't get that this is like the intro to Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, they were playing. Okay, because I'd never seen that, but I hated it.
They literally did, because I was like, does she not get? Because you said
I didn't
like
get
a sitcom. In the notes, it's like, I'm not into the opening credits being like the opening of a sitcom. And I was like, I wonder if she gets that Laverne and Shirley took place in Milwaukee.
Nope,
and this was full intro, but this is for the younger folks who don't know. Basically, Whitney and Heather
I am the younger folks, by the way.
You're the younger folks. Recreated the full opening sequence, like how they opened Laverne and Shirley. We'll put this into the clip. And that's why Whitney brought Heather the Laverne and Shirley shirt with her initial on it.
I guess I hate it less now, but like it makes, I guess I still don't like it, but it makes a lot more sense.
Oh my God. I was like, my note next to that was, oh my God, Jen, exclamation point. But I took it out because I wanted to do this in real life to see if your face was going to do exactly what it did. So Laverne and Shirley was
little girl who doesn't know.
For any young folks, Laverne and Shirley was a sitcom with two women in the 80s.
I thought it was a movie.
70s, 80s. No, it was a sitcom, and they worked in a factory, a beer making factory, I believe, in the 80s. And they had their initials engraved on their sweaters. And that's what Whitney was trying to recreate with Heather. And they do Shamil, Shamazo, Half and Seven Incorporated. We're gonna do it. And that's
I have no idea.
I'll send it to you. We'll also probably put it into this clip after. That's hysterical.
Okay.
That was great.
All right. Well, good.
I don't like that. It's like a sitcom.
I didn't.
No, it is a sitcom. Oh my God, that's so good.
Like it.
Okay.
So Angie, Whitney, Lisa situation. I guess just like overall thoughts. This is happening on Roni for me too, where I'm like kind of losing track of like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, like what started the whole thing? Like I have to keep remembering.
I know.
Yeah, like how it started. And I don't love that for us as the viewer. I'm like, can we just figure out a way to make this a little bit more like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, but linear or something, because I'm getting lost.
No, and this is what, like, I think Uba said it last night, the game of telephone, and I think it's the only thing that Uba said that had any sense last night. But I think, like, to me, this whole whatever fight, Angie saying she's been a good friend to Lisa. Obviously, you haven't been a good friend to Lisa if you're talking shit to Whitney about her. So just sit down at the table and just sit down. Just sit down. You don't need to stand up and say you've been a good friend to her. To your point, though, I don't actually remember what it was about, and I don't think I care that much.
I actually wrote that on the outline at one point and deleted it because I was like, maybe that seems too passive. But I think that's maybe also part of it is that I guess I don't think I know I don't like Whitney this season. I know we can be all over season to season, episode to episode. I'm not into Whitney right now. I'm not into Angie right now. So like the three of them having an issue, it's like 2 out of 3 of the people I kind of really don't care about. So it's hard to get too invested into it.
I think that's how I feel. Like I'm right there with you. And Angie to me feels like such a try hard.
Yes.
So like her getting up at the table to be like, I'm a good friend to you. Me and Lisa texted every day and blah, blah,
what
blah.
What table? Was this at the end or
dinner at the end? I just thought that was so dramatic.
And she does something with like her chair that I caught that was like trying so hard. And when I watched that scene, I thought in my head, oh, I know what's happening. She's standing up and something in her brain is saying, there's a camera on, push the chair out. And then she like does it. And it felt
Make
so
your butt look good.
But or just like be dramatic. Like I felt like she immediately in her head referenced the table flip, like the Teresa table flip. And she's like, well, I'm not going to do that, but I can kick my chair back.
Funny. Oh my God. Ew.
Yeah.
I also think Lisa, just who cares? Like Angie's talking shit and it's not even about anything important. I just, I don't know.
Like even Angie, it's like saying the try hard thing. So when they're doing the tasting, even Angie,
oh my God,
bringing up feta cheese, like what?
We get it.
We get it. You are Greek.
Like
we see your last name. It has 800 letters. Like
right, we know.
This is no shade to. I love Greek food. It's actually like some of my favorite cuisine. But no, that like, why do you have to ask about feta cheese? Why?
It's just like you think a beer place is going to have feta cheese. Like, you're gonna get some American cheddar and maybe like a Gouda. Like, chill.
Yeah, it was just weird.
Yeah, I also don't like how I didn't like how Lisa threw in. Lisa's a low blower. I didn't like how Lisa threw in Angie's kid. Like, oh, go talk to Electra. What's her kid's name? Electra?
Yeah, Electra. I know. I wrote that down too. I was like, yeah, she did not have to
She didn't
make
have to.
that comment about her daughter. Like, it should just absolutely off limits. Like, no bringing the children. And we see how it blows up. Everything gets derailed. You could have a great argument up until you say that, and then your entire argument shot to shit.
100%.
You totally lose the war at that point.
And yeah. And I don't know how many episodes we're going to go on about this fight, but hopefully we get into more interesting things throughout the season.
I
guess
like even the Alibaba thing sounds more fascinating to me.
The shade of the Alibaba is so funny. And how they make Whitney and Heather sit down. My favorite shade is how Bravo is showing the Alibaba necklace and Whitney's necklace. It's the same picture. Too. It's the same necklace and the price is on there. And she's like, we source our things. It's called commerce. I know. Like, there's something weird about what you're saying here. I don't know what it is, but this feels fishy.
And it kind of feels like, okay, if this is how it's working, like, then you could have bought it off of Alibaba and resold it. Is that what you're telling us? Because it kind of feels like that's what you're telling us. And you're upcharging the shit out of it.
Commerce.
Yeah. Like you're up and you're just the price difference was pretty steep. I think like $40.
Yeah. I think the funniest thing was how Heather said, please don't, or who said it? Meredith? Who said this? Heather said, please don't bring this up in the Sprinter van.
Yeah.
Like, why not? We need a Sprinter van confrontation. So instead, all she does is wait a few hours to bring it up in the Sprinter van on a different direction.
These Sprinter vans make me never want to get in a Sprinter van.
I know. I mean,
I would just imagine like me walking into one and then the drama just like unfolds.
Oh, it actually kind of
with no one even in there.
I would love a Sprinter van. Yeah. Brittany's kind of annoying with her.
I think she's so annoying.
And them talking about the Osmonds, like their Salt Lake City.
Okay, I want to talk about this because
Osmond Drive.
This is not resonating with, I would say, probably majority of the viewers.
And the same way probably Laverne and Shirley did it.
Yeah.
Okay, the Osmonds, like Donnie and Marie Osmond, were like, who's a brother and sister duo? That's
well, you said like Sonny and didn't you say that last time when we were talking about this?
Sonny and Cher, but I'm thinking of like who to relate it to now in pop culture. That's like think of the Hadid sisters.
They were that big though.
Back then, they were pop culture royalty.
Okay.
It would be like if we were talking about the Hadid sisters, or even like Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Wow.
Nowadays, okay, here we go.
No one is
started with
above them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the weirdest part, it would be like Mary-Kate and Ashley's fourth cousin.
Or Billie Eilish and Phineas.
I was thinking Billie Eilish and Phineas. Oh, thanks, Brock.
Yeah.
But like, and it would be like she's dating their cousin. Like, not even them. And the way that they talk about it is like in this town where they live, these people are the royalty and they have their own drive where all the fancy houses are. It's very weird.
Salt Lake is wild, huh? Just like it has its own character. It's such a different world within our own country. I don't know. It's really crazy.
It's really weird because I watched it and then I watched New York next. And it's really interesting to watch them back to back. You're kind of like, who the hell are these people? They're like a level of crazy. And I've said this before. They're like a level of loony that's just.
Well, I think I've heard it said before that Salt Lake City feels like a parody show of the Housewives.
And that's great.
And I think that's perfectly said.
Like, even with the outfits, they're like trying to be other housewives. They're trying to create conflicts like other housewives, but their conflicts end up being like, you put
They
feta
fall
cheese in my
short.
salad.
They fall
You
short. Yeah.
always. And the outfits are like, where are you wearing this? You live in like the snow. Where are you going in your bathing suit? Everyone's so
Well,
confused.
so speaking of the Sprinter van, though, the Whitney and Meredith of it all, like, I don't think Meredith was trying to be messy here, actually. Like, I think she was like, if I go to Heather or if I go to Whitney, Whitney's gonna go on the like extreme defense, especially with me. So it can't come from me. And so she told Heather to tell her. And I think Heather could have done a better job of
But
saying
that
to Whitney, like, hey, like, I'm coming to you because Meredith doesn't feel comfortable. She thinks that it's going to be like more of a confrontation, but she was coming from a good place. This is what's going on. And she kind of wishes she could help and I don't know, go from there. The way Heather sort of left it like she knew it was going to be a confrontation because she said, "Don't bring it up in the Sprinter van."
But I think that also speaks for, I might say something a little controversial, but I don't typically think Meredith started originally on the show being coming from a confrontational or a sneaky place. I think anything she learned was from her experience on the
Yeah,
show, but I don't think she necessarily has it in her to be this snaky person. She's really not good at it.
yeah,
Whereas Heather is definitely like a gossiper. Heather was kind of made for this stuff. It's just who she is. And even like that's not even a shady thing to say. It's just kind of the type of gal she is. She's a good time
mhm,
gal. She's like a Bryn. She's like a, like a
mhm,
Kyle. Like she just knows how to do these things. And I
yeah.
don't think Meredith necessarily has it in her. And to that point, I also liked to see her and Lisa kind of being on the same side of things. Like now Whitney's trying to come and say that you were talking shit. I kind of liked that they were teaming up together again. I
I
like
love that
that
they're back
dynamic.
together. Me too.
Yeah,
I
I
like that they're
do.
back together.
I do. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this Alibaba stuff comes out because it's also interesting that her what is it? Market to
MLM.
yeah, her MLM multi-level marketing business is folding and these TikTokers came out and said that they've screwed her. So, I think we'll see more to come on that.
Yeah. Okay, just real quick before I move on to a different franchise.
God,
Brittany
we're
and
like
Bronwyn's conversation at dinner when Brittany asked if she's attracted
oh,
to her husband
oh
and
my
then
God.
Heather asked about the prenup, I was really actually glad that Meredith like said to Heather, like, no, leave it alone. Don't go there. It
I'm
is,
at,
frankly, it's not anyone's fucking business.
I actually I felt so strongly about this in the moment because Brittany was being messy.
Are
Like
you attracted to your husband? Can you
I
imagine
felt
someone
like
asking you that?
no. And Bronwyn obviously was asking Brittany a question about her boyfriend that I didn't feel like she was coming from a shady place. She was just
No.
genuinely asking, like, or do you trust this person? Are you good with this person, et cetera, et cetera? And then to be like, are you attracted to your husband? Obviously, we as viewers might be like, this is weird, but there's no way that she could marry someone that she's not attractive to. And I just, the whole gold digger thing, as like, she doesn't give me that energy.
She
I
doesn't.
also think if you marry someone for your money, for their money, who the fuck cares? I just
Yeah.
like, who the fuck cares?
The other thing too, like to your point about I don't think Bronwyn was asking Brittany questions to be messy. Like there's also other context here, like the texts that were shown last night that Bronwyn,
Right.
I'm sure, has wind of because they were all at the game together. So it's like she's not like making this up.
Right.
The only thing Brittany
No.
talks about is her
Is
messy relationship. So
exactly.
Bronwyn's not talking about her messy relationship, and now
Mm,
Brittany still thinks that she can come in. So there's like the context on each side is just doesn't make
weird.
sense for Brittany to be asking those questions so harshly.
It definitely didn't, and it felt like, oh, I'm trying to get my 15 minutes of camera
Totally.
time. Like, let me
Yeah.
throw this dig in so that I can make a name for
Yeah.
myself. That felt a little produced on me from Brittany. But I thought Bronwyn held it together really well.
Me
And
too.
it
I actually really
actually
liked her.
I know, because I
Yeah.
thought to myself, we might be like, oh, he's a little old, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's no way that she's not married to that person. Like, if she's not finding him attractive, like, she still has to sleep with that person in bed every
Yeah.
night and do the things that you do in marriages. And if you marry someone for money or the money comes with it and you don't have a prenup and you do have a prenup, that is, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, why does Brittany care?
She
Oh,
does.
maybe 'cause
I
she doesn't
mean,
have it.
exactly. She's doing a lot of projecting.
Yeah. Anyhow, I want to talk about the OC, and I definitely want to talk about New York.
Okay. So OC, luckily this part is like kind of short. Let's just like start with the whole mammogram experience. Heather to me she was just really overreacting. I think that they
No
genuinely did
one,
think that like they heard like yays from the other room.
and everybody that came into the room told everyone how their mammogram went.
Yeah.
Mine was good. Oh, this is what happened in mine. And Heather just was quiet. And girl, if you needed a few minutes to process what happened in yours, that's totally fine. But don't then
Mhm.
blame it on people not asking you. I cannot stand
And
people
then
like Heather
wait
that
to
do
bring it
this.
up.
Oh, wait, and say that it's all your fault because you
Yeah.
didn't ask me. If you have something to say, then fucking say it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Agree.
say it if you have something to say. She blew this so out. And then, like,
As someone who never speaks up, I agree with what you're saying.
we were
Okay.
talking about Heather. Yeah. So that the whole to me blown out of proportion.
Agreed.
Yeah. We
Okay, so
get
then
into
we
London.
I know it looks I can't wait to go. I think that's what we're doing next
Oh,
winter for the
good.
night markets. Yeah.
Mm.
And in Germany. But anyway, the accents got to stop. I hate them trying. Like Kyle
I
was
think
sitting on the couch, like kind of trying to take a nap when I was watching. He like got up and he was like, "This is why everyone hates Americans." I was like, "This is literally why everyone hates Americans." And then they're freaking bucket hats.
this is so funny. I shout out. I have a sketch show this weekend. If anybody's in the New York area on Sunday night at
Yeah.
7 p.m. at the Pit in Midtown Chelsea area, West 29th Street at 7 p.m. And we're doing a sketch with English accents, and it's so funny because we're exaggerating them. But
Oh my God.
Gina's is by far the worst. The worst, the worst.
Well, you think worse than Shannon's?
Oh God. Gina's is so
Shannon's
bad.
was so like I wanted to duck and cover.
They're all just so cringe. You're like, please
I
stop,
know.
please stop, please stop, please stop. Yeah,
And then wait,
yeah.
then we have Emily on the plane using I think it was Dr. Pepper as mouth rinse.
She just is like icon,
That was
icon, icon.
wild. That was
Yeah,
a wild move.
it sure is.
And then I do want to get so Shannon gives this actually really freaking pissed me off. Shannon gives these gift bags. Jen's comment about like hers, it could have been a knockoff, was like, I was like, I like that for you. But then Tamra immediately is in her confessional, just like ragging on her. And I'm just like,
What is
just
she?
take the scarf and say thank you. What if we did that?
Why is she gunning for her so bad? And
It's wild.
we did not talk about what happened with Tamra yesterday. So
No,
Tamra
we
came
didn't.
out yesterday, and I want to tread really lightly on this
Yes,
subject.
let's please. I was like, how are we gonna do this?
But Tamra came out yesterday saying that she's on the spectrum after being diagnosed with a therapist, but saying from things I've read that it's been something that's been ongoing, not a one-time
Well, here's
thing
the thing. I don't think she was diagnosed. It sounds
in
like
the process.
the therapist said, you're marking quite a few boxes for someone that's on the spectrum. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a far cry from a diagnosis, I would say.
I think it's a far cry. And I think if you're going to come out and say that on your podcast, I just want to be so certain because this is something that's real, and this
Mhm.
is autism is something that affects millions of people,
Mhm.
and to try to garner sympathy for something that you're not 100% sure about, or not even garner sympathy, but it almost felt like she was using it an excuse for
Yeah,
her
that's what
behavior this season.
yeah.
The behavior that we've all been coming at her for, like, you have no sympathy for this person or empathy for this person, because she was very sure to use the word empathy when talking
Mhm.
about it. And it just felt a little
Timely?
too, yeah, it did. It did. It did. And it's weird because I wonder if it was off season, if I would feel a little more
She's
empathy
since
for her.
Yeah, she has since sort of
Yeah.
backtracked and said that she had just gotten out of her session her therapy session like 15 minutes before that. So it was raw and she just kind of came to the table with information that she had just learned and she should have obviously waited for the further
Hmm.
evaluation.
Yeah.
Um, and said that all of the backlash has been a lot. So she's kind of taking this off the table for our consumption, at least for right now.
Well, I'm glad about that because
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So we get into this dinner with all of them, and we start talking about,
Also, real quick, I don't want to, sorry, not to, but I'm just like thinking about, because I'm like still in my OC rewatch.
mm,
She's empathy for Vicky almost all the time. There's even moments with
but that's the thing
Gretchen
that
that she has. Like, and so
she has
I
empathy for
just don't,
Alexis this season.
yeah. Wait,
Like,
great. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
like
Duh. What the fuck?
what?
Yes.
What? Like, an
Yeah.
empathy for a woman who sued you and your friend. And this is someone who used to be your best friend. And like, hello. That's why it's like, yeah. So Jeff Lewis comes back
Hmm.
into this. I don't know if you listen to Jeff Lewis's podcast, but it's one of my favorites.
He is,
It's like
I mean,
armchair
I
Jeff
think he's in
Lewis.
every
He's an
season right
honorary
now.
character. He's an
Yeah,
honorary.
in
It's
like
true. He
every
is.
franchise. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that he has, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there was a situation with Kyle Richards, I
Yep.
think last season on Beverly Hills. So yeah, he's really stirring the pot. Like he is
He's so good
doing
at it.
the Lord's work. He's created so many storylines.
So many. And it's funny because usually on his show, when they have Bravo Lebs on, a Bravo representative will come with them because he tries to get stuff out of them. But
That's
anywho, they're
funny.
talking about how Shannon basically said that she had asked John for the money. And two of Shannon's friends are like, she said it on the podcast that she asked for the money. To me, you're in a relationship with someone and they're offering money to you and you take the money. Unless there's like, I just,
Okay, so here's where things get a little dicey for me because I've been riding Shannon's, like, I've been feeling for her this whole time. The thing that I'm getting a little lost on is that she does say that she signed a promissory note, which I looked that up and it
did
is
she
a
say
legally,
she said
yeah,
that
she
wasn't
did.
until after? I thought she
Well, what
said
do you
that
mean?
wasn't, I thought she said the note wasn't sent until after they broke up.
But
The
if she
promissory
signed it,
note.
it's still
Mm.
is like, because it says
But
it's a
was it like,
legally binding document that records a borrower's promise to repay a loan to a lender.
hmm.
So it does
But
sound
this is the
like a
thing.
loan.
She's
But she did
offering to
offer
pay
to pay the money, yeah.
multiple times. She just
Yeah.
doesn't want to sign a disparaging agreement. And Heather and Tamara keep on saying over and over again, just pay him the money, just pay him the money. She
So
is
she
paying him the
has
money.
trying,
She's
yeah.
trying to pay him the money. Like
Yeah.
these two girls, I also, if I was Shannon, would want to be done with this dinner because this is my birthday and Tamara gunning for her again.
Mhm.
Why does she want to bring this up? Everyone else is like talking about nice conversations. I actually enjoyed Katie this episode talking about her adoption story.
Mhm.
That was interesting to learn more about who's the
I'm
new
liking
person.
Katie. I like Katie and Jen.
Yeah.
I like them
Yeah, I
together.
like their dynamic too. And who are we learning about how they what was the other topic before that? I can't remember. Anyway,
Um
Anyway, Heather, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I liked what was happening, and everyone was like feeling good when they went to dinner, and it was starting off so well. And this is your friend's birthday dinner, and you're ruining it by like Tamra producing. See ya. And Alexis's little note that says like, "Hey, my future husband, when you want to pay him his money with the heart sign." Beat it.
I'm watching with that OC watch I'm doing. Like, I actually cannot. Alexis sucks. How did she stay on that show? She is a nightmare.
She stayed on the show because her husband was a controlling freak. Do you remember her episode of Below Deck from like a year and a half ago?
I don't, but I'm gonna watch it.
You will when you watch this, you're gonna be under your blankets the entire time. I know you enough to know that you're gonna be cringing and yelling and wanting to throw things at your screen. It's with her ex-fiance, FYI, a year and a half
he's
ago.
Cute though. I ended up on a whole on her Instagram, like deep last night. Cause I was just like, when I was watching it yesterday, I was like, I can't even watch this woman's scenes. Like what is happening?
I know. We got to get into New York. I mean,
Roni.
Look, Roni. Yeah, we got to get into this.
What?
Go
ahead. Start us off.
I love everyone's outfits.
I was just about to say that.
I just feel more at home when I'm watching these women fight about petty shit than I'm watching other women fight about petty shit. Petty shit like, you didn't let me take the driver's seat of your car, of your Range Rover, because I have car sickness. And as both of us,
sickness thing. Yeah.
Right. As people who have car sickness, we get it. But why didn't she just say, I have car sickness, can I sit in the front?
I'm a little confused by that as well.
This is me being like, just ask for what you need. I don't understand when people assume that other people will never read through the lines. There's always going to be a miscommunication and read through the lines.
Also, like, the number of things I have sat out on due to my motion sickness. It just is what it is. Like, it sucks.
Yeah. But if you need to, and also like if it's a car situation and you know ahead of time, you would make other arrangements.
Yeah.
Right. Or be like,
because I'm going to be throwing up.
Right. And that's what they don't know, the extent of your car sickness. They don't know that you need to. This is the first time you're driving with these people. Just explain it. Anyhow, the Bryn and Sai conversation. What are your thoughts? I was feeling a little iffy about Bryn in the first 2 episodes, and this kind of brought me back to Team Bryn and annoyed at Sai.
I felt like the conversation was fine, to be honest, between the two of them, but then it's like Uba comes in to it and just makes it more messy. I feel like it was, let's say, like, for visuals, like, it was like this boiling pot, it got simmered, and then Uba came back in and just like cranked the heat on it.
But that's what
it felt like. Uba, why. And it felt like out for Bryn.
That's what it feels like, because Bryn said that she gave her secret last year about Connecticut Man. And so now she feels like she needs to gun for Bryn, and it's like she's going to be doing it the whole season. How we ended last night was Uba just going at Bryn about being a pot stirrer and calling her names and saying, what did she say she was? Like,
but I don't think it's fair that she's using Sai as almost her, like,
her go-between. Like, just say it's your issue. Say it's your problem. That you're the one with the problem. Sai seems to be fine being the one being used. I wouldn't be fine in that issue, in that problem. I also, this whole like Sai being on her journey, I was fine with it episode 1. I kind of was fine with it episode 2. I'm kind of bored of it episode 3 because, to Bryn's point, actually, Sai was the one who was talking shit, and she's just mad that Bryn's the one that told Jenna. She's not actually saying,
and she's not even the only one that told Jenna.
And it's like, but
like, Bryn makes
the one that was talking shit.
Yeah, when Bryn says, so you're the one talking shit, I'm just the 71st person that told Jenna, but now I'm the problem.
Right.
And I was like,
but that's when I was like, oh. The other thing with Jenna, like if Jenna's gonna be on this on this New York and Housewives journey, she's gonna have to get in the game. She's gonna have to like tighten up her bootstraps and
The thing
like
is,
say
I
the
don't think
things.
she's going to have to, because the way
Mm.
people want her
Yeah,
and
they want
demand her
her.
on this show,
Mm,
it doesn't
mm.
seem like it matters if she brings
It's
the drama
true.
or not. She's a cast member that is not showing her partner, for example, and Bravo said, "Great, that's fine."
Yeah.
Brought no drama to the season last year, and you know what? The internet said, "I want her back. She has to come back. She's a half like." So I don't think it's gonna matter what she
Yeah.
does, if she gets into
That's
the mess
actually
or not.
interesting because it's true. Like I wanted to see her $231,000 Bentley driving up that Hamptons Sag Harbor way. I wanted to see it.
I
And
think she legitimizes the cast. So
mm,
I think even without the drama, it's like we have a heavy hitter, and that'll keep us sort of legit until
she
they continue to build and we learn more about them and we sort of see, what
yeah.
comes from this.
And Raquel too. I mean, Raquel in the art world
Mhm,
is iconic. I was thinking, no shade to Salt Lake City, but
mhm.
watching the dinner dynamics of Salt Lake City and then immediately watching Roni when they're talking about like, oh, what's your job? What's your job?
Mhm.
They're talking about Alibaba over here and they're talking about like the art world and like
Yeah.
curating art. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It feels like a parody of the Real
Mhm.
Housewives.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but yeah, you're right though, because it's true. Jenna Lyons does just, I mean, they're talking about her fiance the whole time. They're talking about
Mhm.
Cass. It's not like
Yeah,
they're
she's
not
not going
saying it.
anywhere unless she chooses to go somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
I like it though. I like that. I
I
mean,
do
of course I
too.
do, because I
Yeah.
like that we have someone that's not immediately so ready to gun for
Yeah.
everyone, and even if people are talking shit, if they've apologized, it's like, "Okay, like,
I
let's move on."
I'm
I like
back to
moving
team.
on.
You know what that you said earlier that I am like I feel like I need to decide who I am always, whose team I'm on in the beginning of
And we
the
don't.
season, and I am back to team Bryn. But I'll always love size outfits. And I also loved size hair this episode. And I was like, I wish I could do that with my curls. They just look
Yeah, she
so
looked
nice.
yeah, it did look really nice. All their outfits were really giving for
I
me
know.
this
I
yeah.
know. It's always New York for us. It's always New York. I don't like this whole Uba gunning for Bryn thing. It feels very targeted and very on
Mhm.
purpose. And like she has a motive, she has her person, she's got her eye on the target. And is this what it's going to be all season? Because it's not going to work for me.
I think it is gonna be this all season. If
Mm.
the previews have said anything, like, I think the big blow I mean, I have no idea, but I think how they in the first episode, it was like flat like, it was like everyone fighting and then they have to shoot the opening sequence or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they wouldn't
I
go
think
next
this
to each
is
other.
very Bryn and Uba centered, and then other people
Interesting.
sort of either choosing sides or getting into the mix, and then it just kind of comes to a total head.
Well, I guess we're gonna
Guess
have
we'll
to
see.
wait and see. Well, I think that's all for us, folks.
I
We
think so too.
will
Madison, real quick. LaCour was on I don't know if you saw her and Sierra at Victoria's Secret,
oh my
but
god, they looked amazing.
she was asked about Southern Charm. And although I don't know exactly what was said, it's nice to know that people are like, we're getting there. Like,
We're close.
yes, we're close. I think it's like December 10th or
Oh
something.
my
So we
god.
have like another month and a half, but
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm
We're
ready for Southern
ready.
Charm.
Things
Yeah.
are coming down the pike. My
Yeah.
week is busy with all these shows though, I gotta say. Busy,
Whew, I'm
busy.
exhausted.
I'm exhausted. Friends, we'll be back next week with an all new episode of Bonded by Bravo. Tune in as we catch you up on all the housewives. We need to get into Below Deck at some point. Um, like and subscribe and follow us on all of the things. You can find full video episodes on YouTube at Hurrdat Media. You can listen to us wherever you find podcasts at Bonded by Bravo, and like and follow us on, I was going to say LinkedIn, on TikTok,
not on LinkedIn,
and TikTok and Instagram at Bonded by Bravo Pod. We will be back next week, friends. Talk to you then.